And one of the big nisim that Klal Yisrael lives with, that Klal Yisrael not just lives with, but Klal Yisrael keeps themselves strong with. Avada to all of them. Avada to all of them. Avada with all of them. All right, Avada with all of them is when a person was born in Lamashal.
Thank you.
Like the Nes of Purim. Yitzias Mitzrayim. We just had basically all of Pesach because we went through the parashas of Boi, B'Shalach, Yisro, and Shavuos, but now we're already heading to Adar. And Adar, as everybody knows, is everybody's favorite month. You have Purim. And Mamish, we have to thank Hashem. The Panimis is a big issue. The Gemara already talks about that they weren't sure which month to be Nesabra, maybe it was Nisan, maybe it was Tishrei, so until it should be Adar. But in the depth of the Indian is a big Amtakum. Adar is a month of big Amtakum.
Wow.
Adar is a month Befrat, and Nesascha tells us that Adar Sheni, there's no Mazel to Adar Sheni. Adar Sheni is above Mazel. Adar Rishon has the Mazel that spoken about, Svarim, Mazel Adar Dogim. Adar Sheni is Nichlal from all 12 months together. It's 1 month that in that 1 month you have everything. You have everything. You have all 12 months. The Shemitah, everybody knows, everyone that likes a little bit Yehudim knows that Bnei Sascha wrote out in the Musaf of Rosh Chodesh, the name of Hashem, the tzira for the Chodesh that's brought down in the Ariyah Kodesh. What to be machav when you say Baruch Ata Hashem, the Kadesh, Asami, Yisrael, Rosh Chodoshim. Everybody knows that Shem Havaya over there. Every month has a different tzira for the Shem Havaya. And Chodesh Adar Beis is, that tzira is the tzira from all of the tzirufim together. Which is the highest. Bachlal, Adar in itself being the last is it's just like Elul also. So just like we know, Hakol Holach Achar Agmar, because you're not as machlokes when the world was created, was it Nisan, was it Tishrei. So Adar has in it as well all the schools of Chodesh Elul. Ad Kedei Kach, the Heilige Sfas Sabbath writes in Chodesh Elul. Now, one of the most important things of the Avodas Chodesh Elul is being besimcha, just like Adar, because it's connected. Now, they're two matched up months on the calendar, 6 with 6. Chadoshe Choyr, connected the Chadoshe Hakayitz, and Adar and Elul are deeply connected. They're both Hachana for the New Year, for Nisan, for Tishrei. They're both having a tshuva. They're both having it, the Indian, right? That in Rosh Hashanah, in Adar and Makabel the Torah from fresh. It's a Klal Yisrael came to tremendous tshuva, and of course everybody knows that in Elul is a man where everybody's being meichin. It's a man of Yud Gimel Midas Harachim and our Nesgala in Elul. It's a time where everybody can reach levels of huge connection to the Eibush, the Melech Basoda. Adar has all of that as well. Wow. And the biggest names, as the head of Bnei Sascha tells us, and then in this forum, was that's why it's called Purim al Shema Pur, the Yom Tov of Purim. Very interesting. Bnei Sascha asks, why is Purim named after the Tzarim? Usually every Yom Tov is named after the name of the Savior, the Geula. Pesach al Shem Shem, Pasach al Batei, Torah, the Eibush gave us the Torah Doisha. Sukkot is that we had big Nisim in the Midbar, the Eibush made, right? That we had the Nani HaKavod. It was in the Sukkot, the Shavtis Bnei Yisrael, Chanukah, Chanuch Hey, we rested. Here, Purim seems to be the Gzeirah. Purim seems to be that he threw a lottery to try to find a good day to nuke us, right? And Tamamish get us out, so we name it Purim. But Bnei Sascha read his Masber that Taguf Egin was the fact that he made a goyrel, and the goyrel came out to Chodesh Adar. That was our biggest luck. Our biggest mazel was. Now, but the biggest nace, the biggest simcha was that he threw a goyrel, and the goyrel ended up being Chodesh Adar. That was the date that he The month he decided he's going to knock us all out, and that was the biggest thing. He thought he had a good cheshbon because Moshe Rabbeinu died. The Latin Chazal say he didn't know Moshe Rabbeinu was born, but besides that, it was the Nekuda that Chodesh Adar is a Chodesh which is so great. There's such rachamim. It's all the Sforim discussed the sin the Aleph Dor, living with the Emunah, living in the Chiddush of Bechlal of Chodesh Adar. Chodesh Adar looked very similar. Purim looked very similar to the matter we're in now. Think about it like this. You have to help what's going on. There's a big Gezeira on Klal Yisrael. Obviously, there's a big Gezeira on Klal Yisrael. The whole world wants Klal Yisrael done with. There's no friends. Klal Yisrael has no friends in the world. Right? They have no friends. Everybody's a bunch of liars. All the Goyim are a bunch of liars. Anybody that claims to be helping Israel is a liar. They're all just knocking us out. Everybody's included in the Israeli government itself. We all know it's I'm not being political, I'm not being a kanoi, but we know it's all a bunch of lies. The whole the government is not a government, and sadly, whatever is going on, I'll tell you what I heard from a big tzaddik. A big tzaddik explained what happened very clearly. I heard it from a few tzaddikim, but I heard it very clear from a big tzaddik that Klal Yisrael says is a big tzaddik. And he said like this. He said what happened on October 7th was, how could it be? How could it be that everyone's asking the question. Nobody saw, nobody knew. So many 150,000 Chabim could just come into our country.
150,000?
Tons.
No, 2,000.
Yeah, tons, maybe 1,500, whatever, tons.
Yeah, tons.
Tons and tons. Wait, they should have known something, right?
They did know something.
Listen to this. Well, he said like this. He said very simple. He said, do you think, Bechlal, that a government of Apikosim, of the Zima-run government can do anything to protect Klal Yisrael? Never. Chas v'chalila, they have no koich at all. Only a koich klipa, it's nothing. But Eretz Yisrael is full of Torah, full of Kedusha, full of Ovdei Hashem, full of tremendous tshuva going on. And at every border, and every yishuv, usually there's the biggest chaskas. But the second that there was a matziv of Zima, the second there was a matziv where Pashat, the Shechina Akdoisha couldn't stand, and the Dalai Lama says, Matzias, that the Shechina couldn't be shayr in such a makom, and what was going on over there. So the Shechina just ditched. The second the Shechina ditches, no, the second the Shechina ditches, the second the Shechina ditches, then there's no protection. There's no protection. They have to come and do whatever they wanted. The Nekuda is that Klal Yisrael is in a matzav where they think every moment that they're in charge of Eretz Yisrael, they think that they're in charge of Klal Yisrael. Look what they're doing now in our neighborhood. Spritzing up disgusting for what, for who, for when. They mamish think that they're the boss. And what? Who's supposed to go up? Who's supposed to go and make a chas v'chalila? It's not our job to make a civil war. It's only one thing. Ein lo na'amid l'shoyin elo l'avinu shebashamayim. Look what happened by the days of Mordechai and Esther. Mordechai and Esther, we're talking about Achashverosh, it says, was the king of the world. He was mamish the king of the world. These 127 Medinas, the Gemara already tells us, either it was on two, Haida and Kush were two different sides of the world, or Haida and Kush were connected, and they was mamish a full circle. He was king of everything. Haman was very powerful. How many have to remember Zerah Molech? These people are the Klipa. This is the Rosh of the Samach Mem. These very powerful people. There's no way. Klal Yisrael was also, Chazal tell us that it was Nigzar Betit. What does that mean? The Gezeira against Klal Yisrael, we fell so bad. They brought us down to the lowest levels. They sinned. They caused us to sin to such an extent that even Lamaila, there was no Yeshua for us. The Gezeira against Klal Yisrael was cementedly sealed. Klal Yisrael, Mamish, was in a matziv where there was nowhere to get help. What happened? Came a big tzaddik, Mordechai tzaddik, the Orev Yesod Abba. which this is a big oil, a big kedusha level, which usually this oil is hidden, and it was a big nace that it was galab chutz, and Mordechai Tzaddik was nishmas Moshe Rabbeinu.
Purim.
Yeah, so we saw last night about the Baba Sali, and he touched on a pasuk that I forgot the exact wording, but the word gam is including in his kapitel 7. Gam is Goyal Moshe, Goyal Mordechai, and Goyal Mashiach. Mordechai Tzaddik was from this neshama, this was Moshe was Tzaddik Ador, and he was zoichet to be Ma'ir. Who is he? Ma'ir to tshuva. First he was Ma'ir the Yiddish kindlich. It's going to be the Yiddish kindlich. He was Ma'ir the Yiddish kindlich. Ad kedei kach that he said a gewaltige. I saw from the Baba Sali was so special, was so deep, and so profound. He said the Medrash says that when the Kapitel Chav Beis, when Esther and Malka cried after the Eibishter and said, "Keli, Keli, lama azaftani," there's a Medrash that says, "Keli beyamsef and Keli b'maimer harsina." That's what it says. Keli b'yamsef and Keli b'maimer harsina. Question is, first of all, what's the connection between the Yamsuf and our Sinai to this whole Indian of Purim? Keli, Keli, Lamas of Tani. Why is she saying Keli of Yamsuf and Keli of our Sinai? So he goes on to explain a moiridik Nakuda. And that Nakuda was, it says that by the Kriyas Yamsuf, the Medrash explains to us that what had happened was when the Yam saw the children of Klal Yisrael. I have to check in the Medrash to say it perfectly, Chas Shalom to say it wrong, but something along the lines that at that time it was the children of Klal Yisrael that was b'schus them that the Eibishter, Medrash has many things, I'll tell us, b'schus Atzmas Yosef, many things, but one of the things was that the Heilige children of Klal Yisrael, they were the ones, because what happened was they recognized the Eibishter. They were the first ones to say Zeh Keli Van Veyu. Why was that? So the Medrash was masbir, because we all know the Medrash tells us in Shir Hashirim that when the children were born in Mitzrayim, what happened? The ladies impregnated themselves, and then they couldn't have their babies in Mitzrayim. So they used to go out to the fields, and they used to have, nobody had a miscarriage in those days. They had the baby, and then they left their babies in the fields, and when the Mitzrayim would come look for the babies, the ground would swallow them up. Right? And when Mitzrayim left, the ground would bring them back up. And how they eat, it says that these thorn bushes grew around every baby, and two soft thorns came out of every branch. One had milk and one had honey. And the kids were fresh; they grew up healthier than they could have ever, after the Mitzrayim were happened. Like, what's going on?
I thought the Gemara says Hashem himself took care of them.
Hashem, so this
Or
was
maybe taught them Torah.
So Hashem did. So this is the next part of the Medrash, and Hashem was there with them, and the kids recognized the Eibishter.
Zeh Keli Van Veyu.
Zeh Keli Van Veyu. So it says that because of all the nisim that happened around them, exactly what it says. Later on, by Ma'amar Sinai, before that, by Kriyas Yamsuf, when all these big nisim happened, it was the children that all recognized that this is the
They came back to
Eibishter.
their homes once they became like an older boy.
That's it. Then they had to go
By
work.
mitzvah, they came back.
And
So Miss got the Bar
that's
Mitzvah.
it. The
Dat is een
Miracle was that their
misgaat
mothers.
Zit in bij Jozef.
So
En is zit uit.
this is what
Miss
happened.
Rabbis.
So the children by our Sinai, by Kriyas Yamsuf, they recognized the Eibishter. They screamed out Zekel and Veil, and then
He revealed himself there in physical.
also Kiviyachol. It says everything was open. Everything, right? Even what the Cheskel and Novi saw later, he saw all the open heavens. Klal Yisrael saw more by Kriyas Yamsuf. It was like the most awesomest revelation. People really cool, regularly kiss, yeah. But it was the Heilige children that screamed out Zek Levet. That's what Medrash says. Nee, Heshi, that was that. And the next thing was. And the next thing was by Maimon Har Sinai, weiter. By Maimon Har Sinai, it was the children that recognized the greatness of what was going on, the revelation of the Eibishter. We know by Mordechai Tzaddik what happened. Mordechai Tzaddik gathered in how many children? I forgot the Medrash says how many children. And he would
1,000.
How much?
4,000.
1,000 for the winter episodes of the night. Something like that. Yeah, I think it was like 1,500 children or something, maybe. He gathered them all together with Smedish and they started fasting, they started doing tshuva, being mo'ir. Now, when Esther was going to the palace to see Mordechai Tzaddik, to see Parai, she had no plan of action. She had one thing.
Esther to see Paro?
Esther, I'm sorry. Sorry, thanks for listening. You know who says that? You know it says that. It says in the Quran. I promise I'm not Muslim. Yeah. No, the Quran says that Humble was the advisor to Paro. All right, you have to have your little Purim time. Just testing to see if everybody's listening. Okay, that's going to get past the test. So that was good. It's great. So Esther was going to see Achashverosh. She had no plan of action. What you say? She had one Indian. She was going to see a Snefesh to save Klal Yisrael. But when Mordechai told her, what she found out what Mordechai did with the children, she screamed out to Mordechai, Kayli, Lomas of Tani. Kayli, that was by Kriyas Yamsuf, because the children. Kayli, that was by Har Sinai, because the children. So use that schus now, because the children. Schus Mordechai that went to gather the children. Fascinating what the Mamsali is being master with the city. And that's what Kayli Lomas of Tani was. It was this Kayli, the Medrash says, Kayli by Sinai. And Kayli by Kriyas Yamsuf, the Mo'ir, the schus the children. And then Taka, it worked. Big Nisim, everything, that the macro extended, and everything worked out. But what am I trying to say? Trying to say that sometimes you have to remember that at the time of the Yamsuf, possibly when Malchipashtus, a lot of the children that were there weren't anymore the children, they were big kids that recognized the Nisim of Zek Haley. That there was the children were already big children, they were already adults for some of them, they recognized. Huh? Yeah, they could have been mamish, from the exam start. So Amon, we have to put ourselves, we have to become children once again. We have to know, we are children. There's a certain akuda person could think, we're already old, it's because the righteous children that all the Gavaldig and Nisim happened. And I've had that's true, but there are many times that we have to ourselves become children once again. And we have to practice being children. Children have, as we know, a baby has no daiga. Baby knows. They cry, they get their food. They cry, they get their pamper changed. Whatever they need, their parents have always an eine kicha, and they have no daigas. Whenever they get what they need, they're fed, they're happy. They get changed, they're happy. Their parents are always happy. Whenever they have it serious, they cry out to the Eibishter. Worries. No worries.
Are you supposed to be chinuch them at that age, like not to feed them right away?
No, not at all. No, you gotta be kids. Gotta be kids. Big kids.
There's not like training them. Like there's all these methods of training kids.
Listen, maybe to make life easier for you. I'm saying, you know what I mean? No, for real. Sleeping methods but what you say, even after you train them, they're very happy. Yeah, once they eat, they get satiated, they're not crying anymore. Sometimes the baby problem is, but the good is once they're satiated, they're happy and giggly. Once they're, you can't train a baby. Once they're trained, they're happy and jolly. That's when a baby has no daigas. Baby knows that if the parents are around, they're comfortable. And that's at the level that he has to put himself at. We have to go back in the matzah we see this mamish, there's nothing that nobody can do. There's nothing that anybody in the world can help us to do on one zach. We have to become children and be so reliant on the Eibishter. Avadi, we have to cry because we're hungry, we need a Yeshua, we have to cry to the Eibishter. And Avadi, we have to cry to the Eibishter and talk to him, we need a Yeshua, Klal Yisrael needs a Yeshua, that's for sure. And Avadi, we need to be changed. Klal Yisrael needs to be changed. We need that there should be a Ruach Shel Tahara, a Ruach Shel Kedusha. But after a person believes B'Emunah Shalema, he cried out his heart to the Eibishter. And his mind that the Eibishter is the Shemea, Tfilas Kol Peh. Then he has to be moidik b'simcha and know that the Eibishter is taking care as long as we're tuned in and we're understanding and we put ourselves back to the levels of children and we do what we have to do. Avada, that's all part of doing the tshuva. But the ikar is that our daigas are blinded, our daigas are taken away because we're focusing kuloi. And the emunah and the tachim that we're done to the Eibishter. So then, at that time, Al Yisrael Zoche to Yeshua, because the Eibishter is Matzmiach Yeshua, is Mori Refuah, is Mori Sehila, is Adon Aniflois. It's all the Eibishter. The best thing in the world is that when we don't have anything, when we have no Eitzah. When we have no Eitzah, we know that the end of Yeshua is coming soon. Like we say in Tehillim, Dochoi D'Chisani Limpoy. When the matzah feels like it's mamish, it's about to go under. We've been pushed. We've been pushed until we're going to fall over. There's mamish, no hope. There's nothing we can do anymore. Then you know Hashem has running. The Yeshua is right there. The smartest people that have the Yeshua the quickest are those that get the point, get the moon, and get the Yeshua right away. When a person bakes into himself that there's no one in the world that can help him but the Eibishter. Avadi uses the koich hatfilah, and Avadi is maiman, and he makes the pulas that's necessary. The Yeshua comes. The problem is when they eat this beteach and all different types of false bitachim, that the Heilige Chavis Avos will tell us that sometimes the Eibishter goes, you're being beteach and that is a Yeshua. No problem, I'll take the day off. Chas v'chalila. When a person, the Ashkacha leaves a person, chas v'chalila, the person can do tshuva, but then that person is going forever. When a person realizes that there's nobody outside the Daled Amos, there's nobody besides the Eibishter, the Moichel that can bring the Yeshua, that can play the Yeshua, that's when the Yeshua is so near, and that's Adam. That's Adam. And that's how the Rishon, how the Sheni, how the Versteht sich in the Svarm HaKdosh, this big Avchonis and big Beginnes, they can get very deep and Kabbalistic, now, maybe another time. But the Iker is we have to realize that we're reaching now, we're coming into Chodesh Adar, Chodesh Adar. And when he is Zoiche, to be misboinen in the Alufe Shalom, the Aleph Dor, Adar, and the Sascha says, comes from Russian. Adir Bamorim Hashem, that the Eibishter is so mighty and exalted, and here all we have is that Adar itself, Adar Harishon, the first Adar, brings us into the Chidra of Esrusa, the Lasata, and then was Zoichen Adar Sheni to the Esrusa, the Lahela, and there's a big Beginnis, there's a Geula that comes from Geula from Nafshis, and a Geula Protis and a Geula, each one of others has to be next to Nisim because we have to be Makish Geula the Geula. But an Adar itself, when we have two Adars, the Chodesh of Adar is a month. The whole month is an Indian of Simcha, already from Rish Chodesh, from right away from Aleph Adar. The whole month is a month of Moedik Simcha, of Moedik Yeshuas, of Moedik Amunah, of Moedik Betachim. Within the month of Adar by Tzaddik, the Allah already says, person has a court case, try to push it off into the Adar. Doesn't say after Purim in the month of Adar, because Adar is a man with a man, the Mazel of Yisrael is going. Mazel after Dogim, everybody knows Dogim is Rosh Tevis, Yud Gimel Midas Nerachimim, right? Yud Gimel Mechilin Derechimen. That's Dogim. The Mazel Adar Dogim is that this month is like Elul, just like we know in Elul is the union of the Yud Gimel Midas of Rachimim and his Gala. So too Mazel Adar Dogim. Mazel Adar is the Yud Gimel Midas the Rachimim. It's the Yud Gimel Chil Derechimen that are mayor every day. And every moment of Adar, you could toil the biggest Rachmanis and the biggest Rachamim and the biggest Amtakas and the biggest Gulas and the biggest Yeshuas. And already now, when it's Erev Chodesh, we're begging in Shemayim, we're begging in Bani Shalom, please, because we're mamish, we're ready to be, we're Erev Chodesh, we're mamish up here a couple of hours of Erev Chodesh. And then the Amtakas can all begin. We should be Zaychet and Amtaka, Klolius, should be ready Mashiach and Gula Shalem, Amen.
Amen.